Welcome to Yoruba Kingdom TV, built by passion.
Mo fẹ́ béèrè kan, ṣùgbọ́n kí n tó béèrè, mo fẹ́ kọ orin kan. I will just, me ní call, I will just read out the wordings of it. Ẹni tó bá ní bírò àti paper, wọ́n bá mi kọ sílẹ̀. I'm a believer, àwọn orin kan tá a máa ń kọ, sometimes past. Only God is leading us on. He is showing us the way, a way we have never been before. There are mountains to climb. There are valleys to cross. But before us, there is an open door.
Mm. Oh, it's wonderful. Go on now, repeat it.
Yes. God is leading us on. Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn o. Mo dẹ̀ believe pé orin yìí àwọn tó ń mú jáde nínú ìrìn àjò àwọn ọmọ Ísírẹ́lì náà ti mú orin yìí jáde nígbà tó ń fẹ́ kúrò lóko ẹrú. Now, he is showing us the way, a way we have never been before. There are mountains to climb. There are valleys to cross. But before us, there is an open door. Now, ìbéèrè tí fẹ́ mú jáde ńbẹ̀, ó ní pé, what are the mountains that we as Yoruba people are climbing in this journey? And what are the valleys that we have to cross or starting cross?
Thank you. The journey is a journey from a very unfavorable environment that we find ourselves in a country called Nigeria. Ìgbà tí a ti ń ṣe Nàìjíríà tí kálukú ń ṣe region tá a mọ evil to hide sí ọ̀rọ̀ Nigeria. Then we became independent, and the people whom the British empowered to rule us, for whom the British manipulated everything, the census, population census, regional boundaries, the sizes of the regions, the election of 1959, what is called the pre-independence election, the manipulation of the relationship among the parties after the election was done, the twisting of some hands to follow and join with the Northerners at all costs to create the government. Gbogbo wọn laid the foundation for disaster. One official in the last months of the government, by the way, only 1 year, the Governor General co-lead the body that will rig the election for the Northerners. So, only it is unthinkable that the government of Britain, English gentlemen, sons of historic families, products of some of the best universities in the world, will sit in a room in Whitehall in London and design the death of a country that has just been born. A country with a great deal of potential. It is unthinkable that they will sit in one place and design its death. Because when you are putting the least educated people to rule a country, the least educated people in that country, and the least desirous of education, they say we are a member of the Fulani nation said on the floor of the National Assembly in Abuja about a year or 2 years ago. As you all know, we Fulani, we don't go to school. We don't know what universities are all about. We don't care about tarred roads and electricity and so on. The only time we know we have a problem is when we lose our cows, because we regard the life of a cow as more important than the life of a human being. That's the kind of people in a world in which the most miraculous inventions are coming out every day. Do you know, I have seen a design. When I was in America, I was shown it. I was taken to an organization that has designed cities in the seas, cities on the high seas of the world. We will occupy the seas. There are people who are designing habitations for living on Mars. They have never built a village in their whole history. Turns out the life of a cow is more valuable than the life of a human being. I want British rule for one single reason only, that they were the least likely to resist British manipulations after independence. The British had just come out of a war. The war ended in 1945. By the time they were preparing Nigeria for independence in the 1950s, the economy of Britain was troubled from the war. Most of the British cities were in ruins from the bombing of the war. A lot of money was needed for recovery. Nigeria was Britain's largest colony in the world as of that time. And so the British were determined that they were going to squeeze most of what they needed from this country called Nigeria. And so if they allowed the educated ones like the Southerners, Awolowo was leader of the Yoruba, or Azikwe leader of the Go, to become ruler of Nigeria, there is no way they will be able to do what they wanted to do in Nigeria. And so they had to put a group there to so they had to call them aside and make agreements with them. As soon as the war ended, they started to make the agreement with them. A young woman, the daughter of the Oni, told me the story. And she told me, when she told me the story, that I was the first person she had ever told. She said she was a girl in 1946. She was given admission to a girls' college in London. Her father was able to pay the fees, but there was no way she could get to London because all the ships going to Britain were filled by civil servants who had been held down in Nigeria since 1939 when the war started. And they were all going home. And there was not going to be any room for anybody but them. So she couldn't get a place. But finally, her father went and appealed to the Governor General. And the Governor General helped. And they offered her a place on one of the boats. And she said 2 days later, the whole boat was filled with Englishmen, British men, women, children running around the ship. There was no place for anybody. But a day or two later, he saw some 5 men, Nigerians. So those 5 men and herself were the only Nigerians on board. And she knew the trouble that she had taken before she could get on the boat. So she began to find out, intelligent young woman, began to find out. And she found that it was the British government that was taking these people to London, paid their fee for their trip there. And they were taking them to London in order to go and hold secret meetings for them about how Britain will hand Nigeria to them at independence and make them the rulers of Nigeria forever. That's 1946. Nigeria did not become independent until 14 years later. So the British were determined from day one to make Nigeria a land for the Fulani. So when the Fulani say, Allah, through the British, gave us Nigeria to rule and to do with as we please. They are right. Allah, through the British, gave us Nigeria to rule and to do with as we please. They are right. When they call themselves the born to rule in Nigeria, they are right. Because the people who created Nigeria as a colony were living and they handed the country to the Fulani. So, well, the Fulani finding that one need to compete, one need to compete pẹ̀lú àwọn Yorùbá yìí o, àwọn tó ti ń gba degree láti 1860s. Kí náà ṣe fẹ́ compete pẹ̀lú wọn? There were Yoruba people who were already graduating from universities in the late 1850s. The first newspaper to be founded on the African continent was founded in Abeokuta in 1859. So there was no way to compete. Therefore, the answer is to try and destroy them. And they have been dragging us down ever since. 2 years after, in Kotek, 2 years, a few months after independence, they declared a state of emergency in the Western region and tried to drag us down, and they succeeded in dragging us down. One of our leading men cooperated with them, Chief Akintola. Chief Akintola was a fantastic man before that happened. We young people loved him, but he gave the dignity of the Yoruba nation to the Fulani people. And they dragged us down. And we have been groveling in the dust ever since. We have now reached a point at which we are living under a constitution created by a Fulani military governor, ruler, who just decreed something for Nigeria and said, we, the people of Nigeria, created the constitution. Therefore, a fraudulent document. But that's what we are being ruled by. And it is a unitary system of government. Our fathers, Awolowo, Azikwe, and so on, had agreed to a federation in the 1950s. The federation has been destroyed, wiped out completely. There is no federation anymore. So that is it. So we had to. That's the environment. But Kotemon Lonu, in the past 8 years, they have taken the decision. We are conquer one, physically conquer us, subdue us, subjugate us. And if we are difficult to subjugate, then set upon exterminating us. That's what they say they want to do. They have no homeland. They are not African. They are not an African people. They are from West Asia. Yeah. And they are a nomadic people. So they don't have any piece of land, homeland, anywhere in the world. But now they have resolved to themselves that Nigeria shall be their homeland. And they are going to subdue and break and destroy all the ethnic groups that are in Nigeria, including the Yoruba. Well, so, anybody to ban so I appreciate the restructuring they don't understand what is happening. But it is our duty to explain it to them. And we must explain it to them. Lana, I finished writing a book. Yes, Lana, yesterday. I have asked Professor Araujo to help get it printed and distributed. The title of the book is "In Fulani Factor in the Decay of Nigeria." The Fulani Factor. So we have to speak to our people, let our people know the truth, and we have to speak to the world. I hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. One of my closest friends ever was a Fulani man, Adamu Chiroma. We met as two young boys from different schools, in University College, and we became friends. And we were friends until his last days. When I was about to leave Nigeria in 1990, or Nigeria to me. And I saw Nigeria going down. I love this country too much to see it die in my presence. I'm going away. He heard about that. He called me and said, Banji, Mabo, then Kaduna Jakasoro before you go. So I spent 2 days with him. So me near any hatred for any Fulani man or anything. But I just say that the Yoruba people have a duty to get themselves out of the range of people who say we are going to kill, maim, destroy, and turn your land into the greatest bloodbath on the African continent. If people are saying that to you, you don't stay near them, you move away from them. And so the best way to move away from them is to separate ourselves from Nigeria. That way, they will not be free to come to our land without taking visa from our ambassadors outside. So any ambassador, visa now so by the way, you come to live under our laws. You come to where is your business, you come to do your business under our laws. That's our situation. It's and there is no other solution possible other than for us to separate ourselves from these people. There's no other possible solution. Anybody want restructuring, regionalism, trash. And it alone, negotiate. And they have brought terrorists from all over the world to come and help them. ISIS from Iraq and Syria. Al-Qaeda from Libya. Yeah, and they're already in Nigeria. They're already in Yoruba land. ISIS themselves announced that we have entrenched ourselves in Lagos with the central in Lewa Kurumbe. Yeah, our nation is in danger. The power is in our hands to save ourselves from the danger. So that's where we are coming from. The journey is to our own separate country. So easy, easy now. Easy. I want Fulani using the power of the federal government. They would rather see us all dead than see us separate from Nigeria. So they want to possess our land. Therefore, it is better for them to see us dead. Come on back, occupy Lewa. They said we are going to destroy their palaces and turn them into whatever. We are going to kill their Muslim leaders because the Muslim leaders are the ones. So we are going to kill them, all those Yoruba imams and so on. We are going to wipe them all out. And then we will descend upon the non-Muslims and wipe them out too. We are going to kill their king and destroy their palaces. It's all written down. It's all written down.
You're quoting them.
It's all written down. Yes, it's all written down in their statements and their plans and so on. They've been holding meetings about this for decades. So it's a solid plan. I was in Makodi after the Fulani killed large numbers of people on New Year Day, I think it was 2018. And it was decided that we leaders of the other peoples of Nigeria should go and express our condolence with the people of Benue State. And I was on the delegation that was sent to Benue State. We got there and greeted them and so on with tears in everybody's eyes because they had killed so many people and wiped out so many villages. And when it was over, the Governor Tom said, "Thank you for coming. You make us feel like human beings again." Because those people just came to kill us like flies. So, but then he said, there is something more that I need to say to you. Then he dug his hand into his bag and drew out a letter And he began to read it to us. It's a letter by the same Fulani who had come to kill them 6-7 days before. Now writing another letter to them. Said, Mr. Governor, we see that your people are weeping and celebrating and doing mass burial and national mourning. But that's a little thing. What has happened to you is a little thing. The ones are coming. We are bringing the bigger ones. We are coming to kill, to maim, to destroy, until we crush all the ethnic groups in your state. So what is your offense? Your offense is that the ethnic groups in your state are saying that the land on which they live belongs to them because they have been living on it for thousands of years. But they are wrong. Even though they have been living on it for thousands of years, Allah has now given it to us. And we have decided to come forward and conquer them, destroy and break them, and take the land. We are coming. We have accumulated large amounts of money for the purpose. We have accumulated enormous weapons for the purpose. And there's nothing standing between you and our destruction of you. If you think your federal government can defend you, you are deceiving yourself. And we are not talking about the ethnic groups in your state alone. We are talking about ethnic groups in all parts of Nigeria. The Yoruba, the Igbo, etc. We will wipe them all out and take their land. I was sitting in the front row. Governor Tom was standing maybe about 3 or 4 feet away from me on the day and reading that. And I told myself, well, the time for the Yoruba people to take a decision is here.
Welcome to Yoruba Kingdom TV, built by passion.